Ivy stared at the cracked ceiling of their one-room apartment in Mushin, Lagos, listening to the rain drip through the holes in the zinc roof. Beside her on the thin mattress, her boyfriend Charles slept peacefully, his arm wrapped around her waist. They had been together for 3 years, struggling to make ends meet despite working multiple jobs. Charles sold phone accessories at Computer Village during the day and drove Uber at night. Ivy worked as a sales girl in a boutique and did weekend catering jobs. Between them, they barely earned enough to pay rent and eat once a day. Every month was a battle to survive, and they often went to bed hungry. "Baby, wake up," Ivy whispered, shaking Charles gently. He opened his tired eyes and smiled at her. Even in their poverty, even with his worn-out clothes and calloused hands from hard work, he still looked at her like she was a queen. "Good morning, my love," he said, pulling her closer. "Did you sleep well?" "How can I sleep well when we have nothing?" Ivy sighed. "Charles, I'm tired of this life. I'm tired of being poor. I'm tired of watching other people enjoy life while we suffer." Charles sat up, his face serious. "I know it's hard, baby. But we'll make it. My Uber earnings are getting better, and your boutique job might become permanent soon." "When, Charles? When will we make it?" "We've been saying this for 3 years." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I want to wear beautiful clothes, eat in nice restaurants, travel. I want us to have a real wedding, not just promise to marry when we get money." Charles pulled her into his arms. "I promise you, Ivy. I will work harder. I will find a way to give you everything you deserve. You're the most beautiful, most wonderful woman in the world, and I will make sure you live like a queen." But promises didn't pay bills or put food on the table. The next day at the boutique, Ivy's coworker Kimmy noticed her sad mood. "What's wrong with you?" Kimmy asked during their lunch break. "You look like someone who lost ₦1,000,000. "I'm just tired of being poor," Ivy replied. "Sometimes I feel like giving up." Kimmy, who always seemed to have money despite earning the same salary, moved closer. "You know, there are ways to change your situation quickly." "What do you mean?" Kimmy looked around to make sure no one was listening. "I know someone who can help you become rich overnight. A powerful babalawo." "Kimmy, I'm not interested in." "Listen to me." Kimmy interrupted. "This Baba is different. He doesn't ask for much. Just a small sacrifice." Ivy's heart began to race. "What kind of sacrifice?" "Someone close to you. Someone you love." Kimmy's voice dropped to a whisper. "I did it last year. That's how I got money to start my side business and buy my car." "You killed someone?" Ivy gasped. "Not killed. Sacrificed. There's a difference. The person's spirit transfers their fortune to you, and they just disappear. It's painless." Ivy shook her head violently. "I could never hurt Charles. I love him." "Do you love him more than you love comfort? More than you love a good life?" Kimmy challenged. "Look at yourself, Ivy. You're beautiful, intelligent, you deserve better. But you'll spend the rest of your life poor if you don't take action." That night, Ivy couldn't sleep. She looked at Charles's peaceful face and imagined what life would be like with money. Designer clothes, a nice apartment, good food every day. She could even help his family if she wanted to. For 2 weeks, Kimmy kept pressuring her. "The Baba is getting impatient," she said one afternoon. "He says if you're not serious, he'll help someone else." "But Charles doesn't have money," Ivy protested weakly. "His spirit will attract money to you. That's how the ritual works. Plus, didn't you tell me his uncle in America is rich? Family wealth transfers too." Finally, Ivy's desperation won. "Okay," she whispered. "I'll do it." Kimmy clapped her hands excitedly. "Good. The Baba will be so pleased. Here's the plan." The next evening, Ivy prepared carefully. She cooked Charles's favorite meal, jollof rice with chicken, and mixed a sleeping powder Kimmy had given her into his drink. "Baby, what's the special occasion?" Charles asked when he came home to find the romantic dinner set up with candles. "Can't I surprise the man I love?" Ivy forced a smile, trying to push down the guilt clawing at her chest. Charles's face lit up. "You're amazing, you know that. Even when we have nothing, you still find ways to make me happy." He pulled her close and kissed her deeply. "I have something for you too." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small package wrapped in brown paper. "I'm sorry it's not fancy wrapping," he said shyly. "I couldn't afford proper gift paper." Ivy unwrapped it to find a beautiful white handkerchief with delicate lace edges. "Charles, this is beautiful. But how did you?" "I've been saving small money for months," he said proudly. "I wanted to give you something special. I know it's not jewelry or anything expensive, but I thought, when you become my wife someday, you can carry this at our wedding." Tears filled Ivy's eyes, but she forced herself to remember why she was doing this. For their future. For a better life. "Thank you, baby. It's perfect." They sat down to eat, and Charles couldn't stop praising the food. "This jollof rice is incredible. And you made my favorite juice too." He drank deeply from his glass. Ivy watched nervously as he ate, the handkerchief clutched in her sweaty palm. Within minutes, Charles began to look confused. "Baby, I feel strange." "What's wrong?" Ivy pretended to be concerned. "I feel dizzy, what's happening to?" His eyes rolled back, and he collapsed face first into his plate. For a moment, Ivy felt pure panic. What if she had killed him? But then she remembered Kimmy's words, the powder would only make him unconscious, not dead. She called Kimmy, who arrived with a taxi within minutes. "Good job, girl." Kimmy praised as they struggled to carry Charles's unconscious body to the car. "The Baba will be so proud." They drove through the dark streets of Lagos to a remote area in Ikorodu, where Baba Musa's shrine was hidden deep in the forest. Baba Musa was a tall, imposing man with tribal marks covering his face and arms covered in mystical tattoos. His shrine was filled with skulls, strange bottles, and red cloth everywhere. "So, this is the sacrifice?" he asked in Yoruba, not bothering to look at Charles's face as Kimmy and Ivy dragged him inside. "Yes, Baba," Ivy replied nervously. "Good. Let's begin immediately. The sooner we start, the more powerful the transfer will be." They laid Charles on a stone altar covered with red cloth. Baba Musa began chanting in ancient Yoruba while sprinkling mysterious powders around the body. The shrine was hot and smoky from burning herbs. Sweat poured down Ivy's face as she watched the ritual. She pulled out Charles's handkerchief to wipe her face. The moment the handkerchief touched her skin, she felt dizzy. "What the fuck is going on?" she gasped, staggering backward. Baba Musa stopped chanting and looked at her with alarm. "What did you just use to wipe your face?" "A handkerchief my boyfriend gave me." The babalawo's eyes widened in horror. He rushed to Charles's unconscious form and roughly turned his face toward the light. What he saw made him scream. "Charles! My son!" Ivy's world spun. "What? This is my son!" Baba Musa roared. "Charles! What have you done?" Through her growing dizziness, Ivy realized the terrible truth. Something was very wrong. "Baba," she whispered weakly, "what was on the handkerchief?" "The same juju-induced sleeping powder I gave your friend to give you," he said, panic filling his voice. "My son came to me 2 weeks ago. He said he needed money desperately, that he wanted to use his girlfriend for ritual to become rich. I gave him the powder to put on something she would touch. But I never saw his face in the dark. I didn't know he was talking about you, or that you were also planning to sacrifice him." The room began to spin faster. Ivy collapsed to her knees as the truth hit her like a thunderbolt. "He was going to sacrifice me too?" "Yes. And now you've both poisoned each other. The ritual has backfired. Kimmy, who had been standing frozen in shock, suddenly understood the danger she was in. Baba, what happens now? Both of their spirits are going to be trapped between life and death. And since the ritual was performed in my shrine, their madness will transfer to me too. Baba Musa was now pulling at his hair in terror. On the altar, Charles began to wake up, but his eyes were completely white. He sat up slowly and started laughing maniacally. Ivy, my beautiful Ivy, he said in a voice that wasn't his own. Did you enjoy my gift? Did you know I've been planning to kill you for months? Ivy, still conscious but losing control, began laughing too. And did you know I drugged your food? We're both such fools. They stared at each other and burst into insane laughter. Baba Musa grabbed his head as he felt his own mind beginning to slip. The curse is spreading. Everyone involved in the ritual will go mad. Kimmy ran for the door, but the babalawo caught her arm. You brought them together. You're part of this. No, I was just helping. Let me go. Kimmy fought desperately. But it was too late. Baba Musa's eyes were already beginning to lose focus. We're all cursed, all of us. Kimmy managed to break free and ran into the forest, crashing through branches and thorns. Behind her, she could hear the mad laughter of all three echoing through the night. She ran for hours until she reached the main road, where she flagged down a late-night bus back to Lagos. 2 days later, local villagers found 3 insane people in the abandoned shrine. Ivy sat in a corner, laughing and talking to invisible friends about the beautiful clothes she would buy. Charles danced around the altar, singing love songs to spirits only he could see. And Baba Musa sat in the center of it all, muttering incantations that made no sense. They were taken to a psychiatric hospital in Lagos, where they remain to this day. The doctors say their condition is unlike anything they've ever seen. They seem happy in their madness, completely unaware of reality. Kimmy never spoke about what happened that night. She quit her job at the boutique and moved to Abuja, but she never tried to get rich through rituals again. Sometimes, late at night, she still heard their laughter in her dreams. The shrine in Ikorodu was burned down by the villagers, who said it brought nothing but evil to their community. And somewhere in the psychiatric ward of Lagos University Teaching Hospital, 2 lovers who betrayed each other for money still hold hands and laugh together in their madness, finally equal in their shared insanity. The doctors say they always ask for each other when separated, still believing they're planning their wedding with all the money they'll never have. Love and greed had destroyed them both, but in their madness, they found the twisted version of the togetherness they had always wanted, forever united in the consequences of their betrayal. The moral of their story spread throughout Lagos as a warning: those who seek to harm the ones they claim to love for money will find that the ritual always comes back to destroy them. Greed may promise wealth, but it delivers only madness and eternal regret.